Piyush Pandey is the quintessential Indian ad man. For over 30 years now, he has injected proudly a very desi nuance and flavor into how ads are made and thereby put Indian advertising on the global stage. He's here to tell us how he stays inspired and how important it is for his industry to spot and nurture talent. Piyush?
Hi.
I think the starting point is how do you stay at the top of your form for over 30 years? Because you came to advertising sort of sideways, isn't it?
Yes.
You drank a bit of tea, you played a bit of cricket, and then you came to advertising and never looked back.
So, Amrala, I have never felt that this is a job. For me, it's been like a hobby. When I first came in from my tea company, I actually took a drop of, I think I went down to 1/3 of my salary. Not because I liked being at 1/3 of my salary. It's just that I wanted to be in this business. I just thought it's exciting. It is something where you create things, the results of which you see fairly fast as compared to people who are involved with movie making. Their gestation periods are longer. They have to wait. And for us, it is you do something today, a month and a half, 2 months from now, you even get the public's response on it that keeps you charged. So I love life. I love seeing things from life. I love trying to put my little spin on it and give it back to people. So I enjoyed it. I think I wouldn't have been here 33 years had I not enjoyed it to the core. I enjoyed it even today. There'll be moments when I'll sit with you and then half an hour later you'll get a call from me. Anuradha, you know what, we were chatting about something right now and I just got an idea. So hopefully it keeps me as excited always.
So it's the ideas business that you're so passionate about. And what you said, that you take from life and you give your own take on life, it sort of very simply conveys the power of advertising. Because on the one hand, advertising is selling products, creating brands. On the other hand, you are influencing how the entire society thinks and sees itself, isn't it?
That is true. See, what happens is products and brands sound commercial. But if you take it to people's lives, it is a way of life. So you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth. You have a breakfast and you cook your own or you get something from outside. It becomes a part of people's lives. So if you are communicating something about people's lives and you do not take their lives into account, then I guess you're missing the point. Then you're just like a salesman who's coming outside your window and saying chana jor garam, chana jor garam. Well, that guy also does a good job actually.
So Piyush, when you started in advertising, it was a very different world from what it is today. And I don't think anyone will debate or question if I say that you are one of the key people, perhaps the key person who's injected this very Indian take on advertising. Will you be able to contrast the way advertising was in the 80s to the way it is now in 2015?
Yeah, in a way, yes. See, if you don't take yourself too seriously and look at life, we were a very young industry in this country. And the entire form of advertising or any books on advertising were all written abroad. So there was a certain influence of international thinking in the way you should communicate. There were people went by ways to do this and how to do this and how to do that. And if how to do was written somewhere else, it had an influence on the way people went about it. So it's no fault of theirs, we were young. I was very fortunate that 1982 is when I came in. 1982 is when Asian Games happened and color television came because of that. So the role of television suddenly changed in this country, which meant that now you're going into people's houses. Now you're doing communication with them in their environment. So the need to speak their language, the need to speak in a way which impacts their life was great. So I guess I was in the right place at the right time.
Hmm. But it was a it. I mean, I know your play. You tend to play things down. So I'm going to ask you to just explain a bit about. Was there any resistance at that time? Was there a difficulty in at then to push the fact that you needed an Indian take, an Indian cultural context in your advertising?
Uh, yes, there was hesitation. I wouldn't say they stopped me in any which way. Everyone had been brought up in a certain way, and suddenly this guy comes from North India and is trying to write things like Chal Meri Luna, whereas you were writing slogans like it works beautifully and takes you from here to there. And I was trying to do people speak. So, yes, there was this thing, a reservation of saying, what is this happening? Where are the rules gone? Where are the principles gone? But I must say the clients were smart. They knew that they had to get into the lives of people. So there was pressure from clients to get people who could write kind of stuff which um, works in the home environment. And I think I must thank my seniors like late Mr. Mani Iyer and late Suresh Malik, who spotted that need. I was a client servicing person. I was not a creative person. And in times of need, I was asked to come and help out people when it came to doing hardcore India stuff. And they said, why don't you come on this side? I think with hindsight, I had reservations at that point in time. Will I be a glorified Hindi translator or will I be a creative person in his own right? And they gave me the reassurance that no, there is a need that we can spot. And in that moment of enthusiasm, I said, all right, I'll take it on. And then it opened up for me.
So, Piyush, you mentioned that you were this guy from North India, suddenly getting to do Hindi lines. I mean, starting with you and people like you, the Indian advertising industry has bet subsequently on talent from outside the conventional sources, which were the big cities, the metros. Um, why is that important? And is that the same today and going forward? Will it be the same?
I see no reason why it won't be the same. Uh, when when my work started getting recognized towards the late 80s and early 90s, I needed people. So I got the likes of Sonal Labral and many others, later on Prasun Joshi, to come and join me in this little movement that we were trying to do advertising that the people of India could relate to. And I think it's only increased over a period of time now. There are a whole lot of people from all walks of life who come in, some of them do some very good work. I don't see it stopping at all. And even when we go into the digital world, the mindset, it may not be the language, but the mindset of an Indian, if understood and communicated properly, will give these people an edge in making more impactful, more engaging, more effective advertising.
So, if I'm a person from a small town, a remote area, I should not look at it as a disadvantage. I should look at it as an advantage.
You are at a total advantage if you've seen life. And as the world goes digital, knowledge is available to people on fingertips. It will not be people with the knowledge only. It'll be people who actually still make the effort to travel, meet people on a day-to-day life. Book knowledge and real knowledge of going and meeting India are two different things. Books are available to everybody. Those who are able to go and catch the pulse of the people are people who will definitely have an edge.
Hmm. So, Piyush, today, if you look at how an agency like yours, how Ogilvy or other large agencies, where do you all hire from? What if I want to get into advertising? Where are the places, or what are the kinds of things I can do as a specialization? Or should I just be a smart graduate?
You are a smart graduate, you're fine. If you're not a graduate, you're still fine. Do you get inspired by life around you? You can come from northeast of India, you can come from Chennai, you can come from Kashmir, or you can come from Jaipur. It really doesn't matter. Were you the kind of person who was inquisitive about life around you? Were you the kind of person who respected life around you? Were you the kind of person who said, hello, that's interesting, let me absorb this? And then after this, are you the kind of person who can then express it? Knowing everything can make you a good planner. Knowing everything and then being able to spin it around and represent it again, I think makes for a good creative person.
So where do you when you look at the formal supply of talent to your industry, are you happy with talent that's coming in formally through educational institutions from the formal education system, or are there gaps?
Huge gaps. Huge gaps because I don't think institutions are taking much interest in the informal training. I think formal training is necessary for each one of us. If we don't know ABCD, how will we form sentences? Now, going down and making sentences which make sense to people is one thing, and that is what we look for. I think a lot of institutions will say, okay, we'll send people for a rural visit. I'm sorry. Are you doing the right thing? You can send people to a rural area. You can sit and do some chats with the rural guys. No, not good enough. You have to go there and feel it. You have to go there and feel it. You have to expose them in the right fashion. Sending people is not good enough. I mean, number of large organizations have done this, that we have this off-site that's happening. But off-site in a nice Haveli in Rajasthan is different from doing an off-site and mingling with the people who live around the Haveli. So I think there's a lot to be desired. A lot of people who come to us from distinguished institutions are still talking the book. And I think the smarter ones who have taken the book to life are the ones that we need. And do we need a lot more of them? Yes. If we have to be impactful for our clients and for ourselves, we will have to go and find those, what they call Gudri Galals.
Piyush, what is the role that you think online education can play? Because today, in a digital world, which is changing everything around you, it's also giving you opportunities. And I can start working for Ogilvy and at the same time maybe start doing a course that can help my career further.
I think it's terrific. I value any education, any knowledge is always welcome. But I think wherever possible, we have to motivate, encourage people who are doing online stuff to say, okay, now go and experience it. You learned it, don't go back just by the book. Step out. Go see the world. Your knowledge will probably become much richer than just by reading this thing. But I'm saying that the world is very fortunate that there is online education that you can get, but go offline and validate it in the streets, in the villages and the cities of this country.
So, would you say that managing people in a creative business or in a creative field like advertising, is it tougher than, let's say, a field like automobile making, maybe, or FMCG? What are the challenges?
I think the challenges are huge. See, managing a creative person is a difficult job because you're talking about freedom of mind, and management means control. So, how do you reconcile between management and freedom? And the only nicer way of the word management is managing. How do I manage to keep the so called mavericks? How do I manage to keep so called mavericks motivated? Which means that you have to have an open mind, which means that there will be people who do not fit in onto the 10 little boxes that you may make for yourselves. There are no boxes. You have to adjust the boxes. There are people who probably come late, but they probably stay late also. So you have to remember not just the fact that the guy came 2 hours late, but remember what time did he leave. So flexible creativity is about flexibility. And management doesn't teach you flexibility that much. I think we have to be flexible. We have to respect the idiosyncrasies of a creative person. And at the same time, you have to get the creative person to understand that this is commercial activity. So everything cannot be, you're not a painter who makes a painting the way you like it. It has to be sellable. Somebody is paying you to do something. So that balance between an artist and a commercial artist is very essential. It's not a free for all. It is within the rules of the game. You can break a few rules here, break a few rules there, but you're playing along with so many other people that your life cannot make everybody else's life completely unstable.
What are the challenges and the opportunities that the word digital and the fact that the digital world is all around us, we're inhabiting a digital world, what are the peculiar challenges and opportunities it's brought in front of marketers and advertisers?
I think the opportunity is immense in the world of digital because there are so many ways to go and touch people in the way that they want to live their lives. They want to spend half their lives on a mobile, then I have to be relevant to them on a mobile. The fear is that along with digital comes data, and there are a lot of people who then become so number oriented that data tends to take over content. And any individual who makes that mistake is going to fall and fall flat on his face. Data is important to tell me that, so how's Anuradha leading her life? But then that data is available to each and every one of us. Who's the one who makes sure that those 3 minutes that Anuradha spent on something, that those 3 minutes out of that 1.5 was mine? And that's where the sheer balance of not just counting numbers, but seeing that within those numbers, where is that idea of yours that kept somebody engaged? So it's a very exciting world. People are going out and attempting so many things, and you have to be there. But being there is not good enough. Being there as a delightful messenger is the trick, and that's what we'll have to watch out for.
So you mentioned data. Data analytics is like a really buzzing sector now in terms of job opportunities, in terms of investment, and in terms of the way it is being used across board, across industries. Um, Yet, do you think data and excessive reliance on data analytics can come in the way of building brands?
Without doubt. See, too much of information and too much of half-baked information is very dangerous. It's almost like, what is a doctor's life today? A doctor is thoroughly screwed. Because there's an individual goes and starts the net and he says, okay, for this I must have this. Doctor has only scheduled you to be there for 20 minutes, out of which 25 minutes you want to talk. So when's he going to do his bit? So I think availability of information is a bounty. Um, Selective use of that information and relating it to life is the end. I think there has to be a balance.
So, Piyush, you told us about the fact that when you first started writing advertising, and you were worried whether you're going to be the Hindi translator of English ads. Today, of course, we know the huge imprint that you have put on the world of Indian advertising. Which campaign was the turning point for you personally? Not about the success it got, but where you saw yourself as I am a creative person, because you said you didn't start out as
I
one.
think the beginning was a good one. I was working on a very humble moped called Luna, and I did that campaign called Chal Meri Luna. And the way it was received, but the people of India told me that, boy, you must be doing something right.
And you felt you were creative then?
Yeah, I thought so. I said that I didn't know whether people will recognize me to be creative or not. I knew one thing, that a brand that not too many people cared about its advertising, suddenly everyone was talking about it. So it motivated me, it encouraged me to say, hello, this works. And shortly on the heels of that came Fevicol Damla Kaisha. And few quick successes told me, and but more than me, it gave confidence to the clients and my own company and a little bit to the fraternity to say, hello, this actually is a better way to talk to people than just trying to push it down their throats. So yes, I was fortunate that the early campaigns got a kind of a response that kind of egged me on to do more of that.
So tell me, when what happens is when somebody becomes legendary in their work, which is the way you are today, it is very easy to look at all the milestones in terms of highs, all the successes. When you look back, what would you say are places that you feel that you could have done better, that you may have failed and therefore were challenges to you and maybe are still challenges to you?
I think at times putting that extra pressure on yourself, and I've seen moments where I've done campaigns which didn't do exceedingly well, and then when you try too hard. So I think the entire thing is of not believing that, oh, this is expected of you. Forget it. What do you expect of yourself? Will you be delighted by this, or are you trying to say, no, there's pressure on me to perform? It is when you put that pressure on yourself too much, you try so hard that you tend to indulge. You lose that connect with reality to say, hello, are you stretching it too much? I'll share with you, there's a campaign I did for Cadbury's Dairy Milk. And one of the biggest mistakes I made that time, which I have not done so many times, I took research too seriously. Research said that, people are saying that when I'm very upset, chocolate lifts my mood. Or when I'm very depressed, the chocolate lifts my mood. So we did a campaign which was about in defeat or in victory, there is a chocolate by your side. But people were not ready to face that defeat in commercial time. Chocolate is a happy moment. The backdrop may be depressing, but the outcome is a happy moment. So we analyze too much. I think when you analyze yourself too much, when you analyze your history too much, when you analyze the consumer too much, I think chances are that you're going to fall flat on your face.
So you're saying that you would advise people to trust their instinct.
Yeah. Respect the people who you're making it for, and thereafter use your gut. Gut is much smarter than the brain, I'm telling you. After 33 years, I can say to you from personal experience, follow your gut. Chances are you're going to be right.
Piyush, this was an example of a challenge or what you would assess as not being so successful on a campaign. But when you look back at your career as a professional, is there anything that you can share with us as a very challenging time or situation and how you overcame it? Because I think there are lessons there for people.
I think challenging times are okay uh, when you have to retain people. Challenging times are when you have to retain yourself. When I say retain yourself, there are a number of times when you're at a certain stage of your life and somebody comes and says, hello, your company is not looking after you. I will do double of what your company is doing. Now that is the time for soul searching. To say, till he came into my life, I was a very happy man. He's come and just disturbed my equilibrium. Similarly, for those who are working with you, to try and keep, it takes a long time to make a team. And you must have the art to keep that team. And in my business, that is the biggest challenge. We don't have factories, we don't have capital assets. We have soft assets, that's people. Keeping people with you, to keeping people motivated. So I think if you to answer your question directly, yes, there have been moments when you might have lost somebody because you are not smart enough to, or not sensitive enough to understand that person's problem. And there are moments when somebody left, you are not sensitive enough to realize that that person has to go. There is a calling of his or her own. You spend a month brooding about it. I'm saying understanding people is the biggest challenge of communication, and understanding people and being sensitive towards their needs and your needs in order to keep going. People challenge is the biggest challenge in my business. It's not anything else.
To someone who's starting out on their career today, what would you say? Is there a mantra you'd like to share? I mean, there's a lot you've already given us, but is there something that a good professional should keep in mind, or a good entrepreneur, anybody who's starting out, a young man, woman today? What's the attitude they can have in such a fluid environment where everything is changing? I might be rising to the top quickly, and then before you know, layoffs are a reality in today's world. Is there something that can keep them stable inside?
Difficult questions like this, I have to go back to cricket. I'm saying I do realize the restlessness of today's environment. So I will not push people to saying start playing test matches. I also know the pitfalls of that restlessness. So I'm saying do not start playing 2020 cricket. I would say come play a 50-over game. Give yourself that much chance. The biggest worry about restlessness is, have you given yourself a chance enough? You came into something and said, I'm passionate about it. And within 2 months, you're saying, I'm passionate about that one. I'm passionate about this one. It's almost like the behavior of a 20-year-old chasing women. I'm saying, yes, this is your age to chase women.
Or men.
Or men otherwise. Yes, of course. It doesn't happen very much, but I wish for the younger men that women chase them. um, give yourself that much chance. Don't be a little bird that doesn't sit still for a moment. It doesn't find the correct tree where it's safe and blossoming. So the biggest learning I have, I don't have mantras, is that give yourself that much chance. Because chances are if you leave something and go away, you won't return to it, and you could have missed your calling. I'm not saying waste a lifetime. Give yourself that much chance. And I wish that you find your calling, because there is no hierarchy anymore. Gone are the days when we were young and everyone said you should either be an IS officer or a doctor or an engineer. Today the world respects any profession that you're good at. You might be doing anything. If you are successful, if you make an impact on society, the world salutes you. So today's generation, it's a huge world open for everybody with respect. But choose your calling carefully. Give yourself that much of a chance to realize that you give it up too fast.
Piyush, thank you very much.
Hello, everybody, all you young people out there who are going online to improve your levels of learning. What I can say is, each one of us, even at my age, we're trying to upgrade life. But you can upgrade life if you try upgrade. If you upgrade, you will upgrade. Enjoy yourselves, get trained as much as possible, and then apply your own head to it, so that the ultimate result is more than the online program. It is online plus. It's upgrade plus 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 is you.